Today's pronoun of the day is pup puppy. But why might someone want to use pup puppy as pronouns? It could also be a way to express a non-human identity.
Another day, more delusional TikToks, because you sick people enjoy watching me suffer.
Pronoun of the day is slug slug.
Alright guys, we're gonna react to more insane woke TikToks from the perspective of a normal gay guy who hasn't quite lost his mind just yet. Buckle up for this first one because it's a real doozy.
Today's pronoun of the day is pup puppy. But why might someone want to use pup puppy as pronouns? Well, this person can have a strong connection to puppies and identify with some of their qualities, like loyalty, energy, or softness. It could also be a way to express a non-human identity. Some people feel that being human doesn't fully describe who they are, so they identify as non-human. So using pronouns like pup puppy can help a person describe that feeling. And please remember that this is a person's experience, and just because you don't know or you can't relate to this person's experience doesn't mean that it's wrong, doesn't mean that it's bad, and it does not mean that you have the right to bully that person. In fact, the best thing that we can do is to uplift each other and make each other feel seen and heard. Feeling seen and feeling heard is not a bad thing, okay? Being woke is not a bad thing. Caring about people is not a bad thing. No one's trying to hurt you by using these pronouns. No one's trying to harm you by using these pronouns. Someone's just trying to live their own life, so you live your own life and you let them live their own life, okay? Pup doesn't owe anyone an explanation. Pup gets to define puppy self or not. People keep asking, but Pup made it clear. What Pup isn't up for discussion.
I hate it here. I hate it here so much sometimes. I'm sorry. But of course, I agree that bullying people is bad, but accepting and affirming everything under the sun imaginable is also kind of ridiculous. Nobody's gonna call you puppy because you're not a puppy. You're a human. And I'm sorry, but if you don't identify as a human, it's not our job to bow down to your truth or whatever bizarre kind of subjective worldview you're espousing here. It's our job to help you reconnect with reality. You should seek therapy. You should try to reconnect with the world as it actually exists. I don't think it's kind to encourage people who are just straight up delusional. That's the difference between me and you, among many, many other things. In this next video, the alphabet people on TikTok continue their war on the dictionary. It's really quite something, and we're going to take a look after this. So I spend a lot of time on my phone, reading articles, watching videos, doom scrolling, research. But every now and then, I find myself just mindlessly tapping through games, which is fine, but I recently found an app that makes that screen time more productive. It's called Test 'em All, and it's basically a way to earn real rewards for playing games you'd probably be playing anyway. Here's how it works. You just download the app, you give it permissions to track your gameplay, and pick from a bunch of top games, including stuff that's already popular on the App Store or Google Play. Some even give you more coins than others. I played Crowd Express and earned 12,000 coins in just a few hours. As you play, the app tracks your progress and rewards you with coins. Then, when you've collected enough, you can cash out. PayPal, Amazon gift cards, or even deals from brands you already use. I spent my coins on Amazon gift cards because I like it when my shopping comes to me. Test 'em All also has weekend and daily promos to help you rack up coins faster. So hey, unless you're spending your time on social media watching my takes, maybe you should spend that time making some money instead. Use the link below or scan the QR code on screen to download Test 'em All and get up to 3,999 coins just for signing up. Give it a try. You might as well make your screen time work for you. So words officially have no meaning anymore, guys. Take a look at this.
Trans men can be lesbians, and if you disagree with that, then I personally think that your view of queerness is a little bit childish. Now, there are a lot of sociological reasons as to why a trans man may want to identify as a lesbian, but before I get into that, the chief reason is that we're talking about adults here, primarily, and adults who are allowed to make their own decisions about the words they use to identify themselves, and trying to police those words that adults use to identify themselves when they fully sincerely believe in this identification is a little rude and very disrespectful for their queerness. Queerness, when it comes to trans men, is oftentimes rooted in their historical attraction to women and lived experience as a woman, as a lesbian, prior to transitioning. And a lot of them hold on to that queer label of lesbian, even as they transition, even as they come out. And trying to police people for their desire to relate to a queer label that they have held on to their entire life is incredibly unfair to them, and I'm sure you wouldn't want someone doing the same thing to you. So yes, trans men can be lesbians, and I'm not just saying that because I want them to call me. I'm just kidding, I'm only available for gender fluid bisexuals. Trans man, not
So, there's a lot to unpack there, but the idea that questioning people's queerness is disrespectful, all right, then I'm disrespectful then. Because I really do not think that it's too much to ask y'all to make sense. Now, I low-key actually agree that trans men can be lesbians because I believe that sexual orientation is about biological sex more than it is about gender identity, although there's a little bit of nuance there, because obviously how you look on the outside is highly relevant, but technically a female being with another female is closer to lesbian than it is to heterosexual. I don't know exactly what that would be in the context of a trans man, which refers to somebody who's biologically female. But more importantly, I'm just getting really sick of this war on the dictionary. Like, I don't understand. What did that book ever do to y'all that you just are so determined to destroy it and beat the crap out of it and erode every meaning and definition of every word imaginable? Because if a person who you say is a man can be a lesbian, then the word lesbian literally means nothing. I don't know how to tell you that it's not progress to erase the concept of lesbians. Like, am I going insane? When I watch these videos, I don't even understand the language that these people are speaking sometimes, because they've done, unfortunately, a somewhat successful job of doing just that and erasing the dictionary. And look, people, this idea that, well, any adult can just identify as whatever they want and it's valid and fine. I mean, sure, it shouldn't be illegal to believe that you are something, but this idea that just because anyone's an adult and they feel some way that we have to think that's true or correct, just like nukes the concept of truth. The concept of truth, or any sort of like ability to perceive it, then just everything's subjective. So you have people walking around identifying as a lizard and I'm supposed to pretend they have scales. Like, there has to be some logical limit to this. And I don't think these people who are constantly stretching everything to the nth degree and who are just like constantly destroying the dictionary, I don't think they're helping. I really don't. Up next, it was just Juneteenth, the 19th of June, the holiday that commemorates the end of slavery. And some people find it problematic that white people would dare wish them a happy Juneteenth.
I don't really like when certain people wish me a happy Juneteenth. It kind of feels like they're saying, happy you guys aren't slaves anymore kind of day. Please don't.
So I just find this funny because it's one of those like heads I win, tails you lose situations. Because honestly, the white people who are wishing you a happy Juneteenth, that's not really something I would say to somebody, though I have nothing against the idea of Juneteenth, are probably libs, right? They're probably hardcore Kamala voters. They're probably woke wine moms, and they're trying to like virtue signal. And now you're saying that what they're doing is actually problematic. So honestly, I'm here for this tea. I'm here for this shade. Like, please make them continue to tie themselves up in knots trying to appease you people in terms of left-wing progressives who are just constantly declaring everything problematic somehow. I just don't participate in the game. Like most normal people don't at this point. We don't try because you can't win. But it is honestly amusing to watch these people try to twist themselves into pretzels to please critics like this person on TikTok, who honestly will just find a way to call whatever you do. Like, in the same way, if no one wished this person a happy Juneteenth, maybe that would be what was the microaggression of the day. It's like some of y'all want to be victims so hard that you honestly deserve gold Olympic medals for the level of stretching you're engaging in, because there's some mental gymnastics going on here that are genuinely impressive. And guys, some of the racial discourse on TikTok is just like unhinged and extremely racist. Take a look at this.
My page is very pro-black. I'm never going to get off of white people's necks. I don't care. All of y'all ain't bad, but most of y'all are. It is what it is. And y'all can't be mad at me for saying these things. And what are y'all going to do about it? Y'all be in my comments typing paragraphs. Y'all be mad as I don't care. I said what I said. I'm never going to get off y'all necks.
Well, she seems lovely. The more disturbing part of that to me, though, is that like 20,000 people like that video that says most white people are bad. I mean, I guess she didn't say all, so that makes it like a little better than some of these videos, but I don't understand why anyone thinks it's okay to talk about any entire demographic group of people like this. It's not, and not to be trite, but like just switch the races around and you would understand why that's such an insane and unhinged and racist thing to say. But also like this kind of divisive rhetoric and the way that far left progressives talk about identity and race, it just seems perfectly concocted to me. If you were looking to devise a strategy of how to make race relations in America worse rather than better, you'd come up with stuff like this, that, listen, I don't care about being white. It's not an important aspect of who I am, but I don't consider myself like, proud to be white or anything like this. But this kind of rhetoric where they're like castigating you for it or acting like being white is inherently bad, it almost makes you feel defensive of that, when what we should really want is just for people to stop caring about race and let it fade into the background and treat everybody equally. But, you've got the far right neo-Nazi types all over X and elsewhere that think race is like the most important thing and defines so much of society and how it functions. And then you seem to have, and those people are totally comfortable on, the Groyper types, the alt-right, making generalizations and stigma about entire groups of people rather than treating people like individuals. Then you have the woke people like this, or I call them the woke KKK, who basically do the same thing in the opposite direction and somehow think they're progressive. Okay, this next one cracked me up because this couple quit their jobs to protest Trump or something. Take a look at this video.
People keep asking how we're going to pay our bills now that my husband and I both quit our jobs. The bills are not the focus. We're not worried about bills. We are not working as a form of protest. We're going to pay our bills, the ones that are necessary, because we have cut back a lot. Like, since the current administration took office, we've cut back on so much. Like, we are not putting money into the economy like we used to. We are not going out to eat. We are not traveling. We are not going to Target and filling our car up with a bunch of stuff that we don't need. Like, we're not spending money anymore. Like, we're buying food and household essentials. We're not funding a war. Not me, not my husband, not my household. We're not participating. We're not going to do this anymore. We are not funding this war.
This is the most delusional, like straight up delusional TikTok video I've seen in a while. And given like the context of what a cesspool of idiocy TikTok can be, that's really saying something. What do you mean you quit your jobs to protest Trump? You think he's going to notice or care? You think that's going to make any difference? It's just going to cause you financial stress. I don't know. I guess it's a free country. You can quit your job if you want. But the idea that that's some sort of like resistance tactic just strikes me as like bizarrely baseless. In the same way, what do you mean that you're protesting Trump by not patronizing local restaurants, not putting money out into the economy? The people who might suffer from that would be your local restaurant owners, your local businesses and their employees, not Trump, not directly. I mean, and if tons of people did this and the economy suffered, that wouldn't be great for Trump, but more importantly, it wouldn't be great for the American people. So you're kind of letting your political pettiness take precedence over what's actually good for your fellow citizens, which isn't a great look at all. Also, I don't know exactly what she's babbling about when it comes to we're not funding a war. Like, okay, but I can understand the desire to not want to fund a war, but you realize that has nothing to do with patronizing your like local stores and restaurants, right? Like literally nothing. The math here is not mathing. If the federal government is funding wars abroad, they're using tax dollars, federal tax dollars to do it. They're not using local sales tax. That goes to your local government or your state government or your schools near you and state services. It doesn't go abroad. It's not being sent to Israel. It's not funding the military to fight Iran. Like, that's not how this works. And if you're going to do a whole stunt and if you're going to broadcast it on the internet, I feel like it's really not too much to ask that you have some idea what you're talking about and what you're doing before you do it. But no, go off, queen. You ate with that. You did your big one. You're so stunning. You're so brave. I'm just amazed you didn't do it in a Handmaid's Tale costume, because that would have been, I think, chef's kiss, the cherry on top of this stunning and brave activism once again. Oh gosh, guys, I can't handle any more of this without my brain exploding. So do me a favor, subscribe if you haven't yet, hit that like button while you're at it, comment with your thoughts, yada, 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 and we'll talk again real soon.